Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Passive Aggressive Film Reviews. My name is Richard Shittlebob.
And I'm Nathaniel Barrett Moore.
I've been drinking, Nathaniel.
You've been
drinking.
What is it with you and stimulants at the moment? You were stoned off your tits last week.
Don't judge me.
I'm not judging.
Don't sit in judgment over me, Nathaniel. You're not my mom.
I'm certainly not your mum. I'm just making an observation rather than judging you. What's brought you to this activity?
I have a reason. Okay. Yesterday, I attended the premiere of Tintin in Leicester Square.
Okay.
And basically, I just haven't stopped drinking since.
For what reason?
It was people just kept handing me drinks, and I was in good company. I could see no reason to stop. And truthfully, the thought of having to spend an hour and a half in your company, albeit over Skype, was sufficient to ensure that I needed to keep topping up the levels.
You feel need to get pissed to enjoy my company? Is that what you're saying?
You can read into that whatever you want, Nathaniel. It's up to you.
All right. Well, you do whatever you feel you have to. There's
another reason as well, besides the horror of spending time in your presence.
Yes.
It's a bit personal, this, Nathaniel, and I don't know if I should share it, but I feel I must.
Please do.
Hemorrhoids.
Ooh.
You heard of them?
Yes, I've heard of them, yes. I've experienced them from time to time too.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've got them.
Oh, yeah.
Right now. I'm in agony.
Well, despite what you've just said about you needing to get pissed to spend time with me, you have my sympathies.
Thanks. I'm doing this standing up.
Well, are you taking anything for it? Got any cream or ointment or anything?
Germaloid. And I beg your pardon?
Do you need some help putting it on?
No, I'm okay. That helpfully they provide a plastic applicator which you insert into your rectum and then squeeze the cream.
Wouldn't be as gentle as my fingers, Richard.
Well, I've tried to do it with my own fingers.
Yes.
But I find it all a bit confusing. The sensations are quite confusing.
Right.
So I've gone back to the plastic.
Well, I wish your bottom well, and I hope it heals soon.
It was brought on, would you believe this, by jalapenos in the canapes at the Tintin premiere.
Just the jalapenos?
It's the only thing I can conceive that possibly caused this problem. The hot, spicy jalapeno peppers. They are peppers, aren't they?
They are indeed.
Yeah, the hot peppers just burnt their way through my system. So, and basically my anal nerve endings are now exposed. I'm in agony.
Well, yes, the spicy foods do aggravate that kind of condition. But maybe it's kind of coupled with the stress of mixing with those idiots and having to endure that awful film, maybe.
I've got to say, Nathaniel, I mean, the film aside, I've got no interest in talking about the film, because you're right, it was bloody rubbish. But the actual event was absolutely marvellous.
Oh, of course, because you like to mix with the celebrity culture, don't you?
I do. I truly feel that's where I belong. Now, at first, security wouldn't let me through.
Not surprising.
Well, apparently, they've never heard of our show. Would you believe?
Well, they're yet to taste the delights.
Well, I mean, it's their loss.
Of course it is.
But luckily, Terry Wogan was nearby.
Was he?
To confirm my identity. Now, I've never met the man before, but, him being Welsh, as we've discussed,
yes,
he seemed to have had a few.
Did he?
Oh, you know what they're like.
Well,
and he was absolutely certain that me and him had once shared a caravan in Barmouth.
Was you right?
Not as far as I can recall, Nathaniel, no.
Right.
So that was a bit peculiar, but he got me through the door.
Well, fair enough. Fair play to Terry.
A nice chap and all. I could only really put up with him for a couple of minutes, because he does drone on.
Yeah.
He just talks about the Eurovision Song Contest. Have you ever met him?
I've never met him, never had the pleasure, no.
Oh, I mean, once he gets started on the Eurovision, there's no stopping him.
That's interesting, because I thought he got rather sick of the whole experience.
I think it's one of those things, trading on former glories.
Ah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
You know, grass is always greener, isn't it? So he stepped aside, let that well-known Gaylord, Graham Norton, occupy his position.
Yeah.
And I think, I get the impression he misses it now.
Yeah, you don't know what you've got till it's gone and all that.
Oh, that's what I think. That's what episode 7, I was thinking about packing this whole thing in, but then I realised I'd miss it if it was gone, you know?
Oh, sure would. Then you'd miss me.
Yeah. Now, I also met Steven Spielberg.
Really?
The director of Tintin. I'm sure you knew that.
I knew that, even I did.
Did you?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Right. Now, I asked him, because, you know, with these people, you're only going to get a couple of minutes tops.
Yeah.
So you've got to get him what you want, you know, you've got to get it in quick, I mean, whatever you want to ask.
Yeah.
And I've always thought I'd like to ask him this. I asked Mr. Spielberg why he chose not to include any light-hearted moments in Schindler's List.
Did he have an interesting response?
He just walked away, Nathaniel. He looked vaguely sickened, in all honesty.
Well, let me just I can understand his reaction, Richard.
Really?
Yes.
Was that inappropriate, was it?
I think it was a little bit, just a tad.
Okay.
I don't think Schindler's List would have benefited from any family values.
Well, you know, just a couple of chuckle moments would have been okay. I also met Ricky Gervais.
Oh, right.
Now, did you know, Nathaniel, that he's had his teeth fixed?
I didn't know he had a problem with his teeth, to be honest with you.
Oh, he's quite famous, really, for, you know, the fact that he's snaggle-toothed British. Because the American
the Hollywood teeth, yeah.
Yeah, the Hollywood teeth, but they specifically make a joke out of British teeth.
Right.
And British teeth are, you know, in America, that's a bit of that's just like a cultural touchstone as a joke. Snaggle-toothed British people.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough because, by Christ, we do have shit teeth, don't we?
Yes, we do.
But so Ricky Gervais, he's had his teeth fixed.
Okay.
What a national traitor! He should have been proud of those teeth.
Well, it sounds like a bit of a sellout, I have to admit.
He's lost a bunch of weight, you know. He's gone the Jimmy Carr route, so he now looks all lithe and svelte and attractive with his perfect teeth. He's a disgrace.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with that idea myself, Richard, I have to say. I mean,
Really?
One of the things you can praise about Ricky Gervais is that, you know, he's an individual. There's no one else like him.
Not anymore, he's not. They've got him conforming to their rules.
He's trying to fit into the American vibe, and I don't like that.
Why does he need to do that?
Exactly, why does he?
Why does he need to? Look how successful he is. Look how wealthy he is. Why on earth does he have to follow the rules of somebody else?
Well, I guess he's got the taste of power now, Richard. Power, wealth and fame, it's intoxicating mix.
But he got to where he is by being himself.
He did indeed, that's the irony of it, isn't it?
Not by sculpting his body in the fashion of somebody from California.
Well, let's hope he starts indulging in the American culture too much and eating lots of crap and putting weight back on and getting his teeth rotting and stuff.
Hopefully, he finds himself in the seedy and corrupt world of Los Angeles pornography, and he'll be shat out of the back end of it like the worthless scum that he is.
I wouldn't go quite that extreme, Richard.
Right, okay.
It's quite a typical view for you, I guess.
Now, Nathaniel, after the show last week,
yes,
I headed to my local police station. This could unnerve you, and rightly so.
Right.
I headed to my local police station to give a blood sample.
Okay.
I told them what you'd done regarding the space case and poisoning me
You didn't give them my address or phone number, did you?
I gave them all your details.
Oh, what are you doing, Shittlebob?
Now, as it turns out, they arrested me on suspicion of possession of Class B substances.
Oh dear.
They weren't interested in you.
Of course, I'm such a nice fellow, that's why.
They searched my house, Nathaniel, but the best they could come up with was a packet of dried basil. And then they left. I blame you.
Well, I'm sorry you've had to go through that ordeal on my part. I'll take full responsibility. Don't want to see you get into too much trouble. I don't mind seeing you cop a bit of flack, don't get me wrong.
That's why you did it, isn't it?
No, of course it isn't.
You knew that I'd go to the police, and you knew that they would only be interested in my crime. The crime inflicted on me by you.
That's preposterous. I was just trying to open your mind.
Yvonne's insanity continues apace.
Okay.
And do you remember last week? Remember the message that I received? You're going to die.
Yeah.
But you kind of mocked, didn't you, at the time?
Well, I didn't take it too seriously. That's correct.
Well, this week I've received through the post a picture of myself, A4 size picture of my face.
Yes.
And on which scrawled the words, "Dead man walking."
And you think it's from Yvonne again, do you?
Well, it would seem remarkable if this had happened twice, unless it was you.
Well, it wouldn't seem that remarkable if the people who want you dead, Richard. Not that remarkable at all.
But the people that most want me dead tend not to know my address.
Well, people have contacts. But after listening to you talk, it probably is Yvonne.
Yeah.
I'll be expanding on that a little bit more.
Well, I've only got one more thing that I want to bring
to
the listeners' attention before we move on to the humdrum events of your week. Now we've received several emails this week, which is positive.
Yes.
And foremost amongst them was one from a Miss Karen Hyman. And she writes, "Dear Nathaniel and Dick." Yeah. I mean that's a good way to start there, Hyman. I haven't been called Dick since finishing school.
Yeah.
So you can imagine.
Pick it back up.
Yeah, I've read the rest of it in some kind of rage, in all honesty. Anyway, she continues, "I look forward to your podcast every week and find your bickering style most amusing. A few points to note, however. 1. The format is starting to become a little stale. Perhaps you could spice it up with some word puzzles or logical conundrums for the listener to engage in, for when your droning on and on gets too tiresome. 2. Maybe you could include some audio footage to enliven your reviews, which, though occasionally engaging, do tend to drift into blandness more often than is ideal. And 3, and this is the kicker, Nathaniel, 3, maybe Nathaniel could do more of the talking, as his black country accent is both warm and reassuring when compared with Richard's clipped, precise diction. Oi! Hyman! Piss off! Don't come on here telling us how to do our show. If you don't like it, go and listen to Ricky Gervais's podcast, you dried of old hag. How fucking dare you!
But I'm going to try and balance this one out, Miss Hyman, or Miss Hyman.